Welcome to Guerin Associates podcast number
10?
10? 9?
Go. Yo, Anderson, ¿qué número?
No sé. I gotta go back and check which one it is. I gotta go back and check which one it is. Pero while I do that, Mike, go ahead and tell everybody who we got.
Buenos días, mi gente. Buenos días. Espero que todos estén muy bien. Fue un año muy exitoso. Espero que nos sigan siguiendo en nuestras redes sociales, en YouTube, con este podcast que hemos estado haciendo todo el año. Y la idea es poderle brindar a la comunidad, a la gente que nos están viendo en estos videos, es informarle de las cosas importantes que van en una compra de una casa y todo a su alrededor. Hemos traído lenders, hemos traído clientes, hemos traído creo que muchas personas diferentes, pero hoy día es muy importante porque tenemos a Oscar con Ohana Home Inspection.
El duro de los duros.
Y para decirle un poco más, obviamente le voy a explicar quién es y qué es lo que hace, pero básicamente cuando ustedes compran una casa es muy importante hacer una inspección. Muchos bancos a veces no es obligatorio hacer una inspección. Nosotros lo recomendamos. Pero Oscar, dinos un poco más por qué recomendamos, por qué es importante hacer inspección y quién tú eres y qué tú has hecho ahora último con el equipo de Guerin Associates.
Bueno, no, yo soy el número 10, podcast número 10.
Number 10, baby, number 10. Number 10,
Number 10. Aquí estamos con el número 10. No, gracias por tenerme acá. Es importante, de verdad, que la gente sepa lo importante que es hacer una inspección. Como tú dices, Mike, no siempre es requerido. Y realmente ni siquiera es un requisito legal para la compra de una casa. Pero es importante. Para la gente que está haciendo para ello la inversión más grande que van a hacer en su vida, es importante que le metan un poquito de atención a lo que están comprando. Es muy importante. Nosotros estamos acá para darles un pequeño vistazo a la inversión que están haciendo.
Exacto. In regards of like Ohana Inspections, when did it come about? When did you get started? You know, how has that journey been for you since Ohana Inspections started? Because I remember when we first met you was at at least when I first met you, it was at the festival that we did, or not the festival, the event that we did with Oscar at Wow Supermarket.
Yeah, I remember.
Was it the first one?
Yeah. I had already been working with some of your team before that because I had met them at an open house.
Okay.
And
you just like popped by?
Of course I'm gonna pop by. I see the event, I gotta support. You know, so I saw the event and I was like, I got an inspection like 20 minutes from there. Let me stop by and go say, what's up to the team.
Okay, we really appreciate you. We really do. Like you say, you went there to support the team. And I feel like from then, you have always supported the team.
100%.
Every event, everything that we do, you at least stop by to say hi, show up. I know I have used you myself. A lot of the team members have used you. I think you do a great job. Love the video that you also provide, the marketing that you do, and most important, your professionalism. But we do appreciate your 100%. Support. We really do. We did an event yesterday. We also do an event every month, network event. Come check us out. It's amazing. It's really fun. But you also sponsored the event yesterday, which was a great success.
Yes.
And again, thank you so much. We really appreciate the support, and thank you for being around us. And thank you for coming in today to help the people that are viewing us, let them know the importance of the home inspection.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I love supporting you guys. You guys are a great team. You guys really support the community, support each other. And I love working with agents that truly care about their clients. So when I see that in my clients, and my agents, and my team, I love being a part of it. Whatever I can do to help support you guys support me all year round. Let me support you guys with whatever I can.
100%. Yeah, like Michael said, we do appreciate it, for you always showing us love, always supporting. And I mean, it wasn't even a question. I was, with me and Mike's spouse, like, bro, we got to get Oscar. We got to get Ohana on here, But how long it's been since Ohana got started?
So I started doing inspections back in 2017.
Okay.
I had just got out of the Navy and I wanted to go back to civilian life. And I went back to work at a bank, which is what I used to do before. And it wasn't feeling right. I wanted to be out in the field. I wanted to be out with people. So I got a recommendation from a family member. I said, why don't you look into being an inspector? Never heard of it before, right? My dad was in construction, but I had never heard about being a home inspector. So I started doing some research, and turns out really interesting. And I started doing my research. I got my license, and I started just absorbing as much information as I could. Little by little, I started getting clients, and it just built from there. And that was in Florida. And we moved to North Carolina back in 21, and I took a little bit of hiatus because I wanted to spend some time with the family and kind of get my bearings, see what I wanted to do. But Home Inspections pulled me right back in, and here I am.
Man, so in 3 years, Ohana Inspections started here?
Actually, no, it started about a year ago.
A year ago?
Yeah, so I took about a year and a half hiatus. I was working on some other projects, and I said beginning of this year, beginning of 24 is when I started it all over again.
And I feel like you are in the space a lot, like in the mix with a lot of agents. I always see like, and then even yesterday at the networking event, I mean, the agents that were there, they know, you know, who you are. Also, even the agents that were outside of our team. I thought that you had been doing the Ohana Inspections here locally for a longer period of time. Yeah. I just feel like it looks like it's been like a big growth for you. I don't know. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it definitely has. I mean, we're very blessed and very happy with the growth that we've had in a short amount of time. Like I said, I've been doing it for close to 10 years, but I took about a year and a half break when I came here, and I started back in 24. But in that 1 year period, we've grown to a larger level than when we had ever been in Florida.
Okay.
So that for us is a huge blessing because in Florida, we were there for about 5 years. So here in a year, we are doing better than what we did in 5 years in Florida.
What do you think is the key to that?
I think there's a couple things to attribute to it, right? One, we try to provide great customer service. That's the main thing. We try to make sure that our clients know that you can contact me at any time, you can text me, you can call me. If I'm awake, I'm going to answer my phone, right? And you guys have seen it. You guys have texted me anytime, and I'm trying to answer that. The other thing is we did come with some more experience, so I didn't start from scratch like I did when I was in Florida. And then obviously being bilingual helps a lot. I've been able to infiltrate the Hispanic community here. There's a huge Hispanic community here in Charlotte and surrounding areas, and it keeps growing. And clients want to talk to an inspector that speaks their language.
Yeah.
At the same time, I also speak English, so I can do both. I can do English and Spanish, but the Hispanic part, it does help.
100%. So I know a lot of times when we're on this podcast, we do talk about, you know, some motivational pieces and, you know, any kind of struggles that we go through. Do you feel like with Ohana Inspections, did you ever go through any like hardship, any struggles? Was it easy just for you to build it so fast, you know, or did you ever face any challenges throughout it? And if so, like, how did you deal with it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first started, we started like in May or June of 2017. By December is usually a hit or miss, right? Depends on the market, depends on a lot of stuff. But for us, December was rough. I think maybe we made $1,000 in December. That was really rough for myself and for my family. You know, we were at the point where we were borrowing money from family just to survive, and I was, you know, put up against the wall. Where do I continue with this project, which is starting my own business, starting my home inspection company, or do I go back to work for the bank and do I go back to the life that I didn't want to go back to? And I just kept pushing. My wife was a huge supporter of me and what I was doing. My kids were all about it as well. So we pushed through, and by the end, when we left Florida, we had 3 full-time home inspectors, and we were probably doing about 10 inspections a day across the company. So it was a beautiful thing. Now, coming back here to North Carolina, same thing. You know, we started from scratch, and it was a little scary because, you know, we started brand new. We didn't know anybody, didn't have any contacts at all. At least in Florida, I had been there for a long time, so I knew some people. But here, with no contacts, nothing, just go out there, hit the pavement, and start meeting people. And
hitting agents up on social media.
Yep.
Well, luckily you met the best team in Charlotte, Grant Associate.
I did. And funny story, one of the first days that I said to my wife, I'm going to take this serious, I'm going to go out there and start doing open houses, was the day that I met you guys. So I remember it was Manuela, Roxy, and Karen that were there. And they were doing an open house in Gastonia.
Yeah.
And I just showed up and I said, you know what,
let me go talk to ese open house.
And, you know, I showed up and they were very welcoming and very supportive. And from there, I started following everybody in the team, and it just sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah, because I remember at the event that we had at Wow Supermarket, Manuela had already known who you were. And I was like, how in the world do you know who Oscar, you know, who you are? And then, bro, like Mike said, your social media, I see you're active. I'm like, dang, bro, this guy's probably been doing this for years. I had no idea that here in Charlotte, you haven't been here really that long.
Yeah.
But that's really good. And I think something we can learn is the hustle. Right? The hustling, you go in the field, going out there, look for the business. and now you say yes, you're blessed, and you have grown a lot, but it's you, right? It's the hustle, it's the mindset, right? And I think you did a really good job on the strategy, right?
Yeah.
And we're happy for you.
Thank you.
And we're happy to partner up and work with you and use you. Tell that a little bit more, because I know you do a lot of extra service for the home inspection that maybe a lot of people don't know, like termites home inspection, radon, mold, septic. So tell us about the difference. Any advice that you can tell people? I know, at least for me, I don't really obviously we help everybody else with whatever they're looking for, but normally we like to advise our client to go the best route. And I'm not an inspector, right? But at least through the experience of the years, we have learned what to look into, right? I mean, I have my lighter right here, ready to go to do the inspections. But like crawl space,
flashlight.
You get the
They said
flashlight.
a lighter.
You get the flashlight.
My English not very good looking.
Not very good looking.
El lighter es para otra cosa.
The Celia.
That's after the inspection
After the
report.
inspection.
That's after this actually celebrate with the cigar.
To celebrate, no. This special report will be coming up. But again, our job is to help the client make a decision before going on the contract. That also, when they do the inspection, it's not like 100 pages.
Yep.
Right? We're trying to minimize this as well. That way we don't go through the headache or maybe losing that deal because we didn't took the time to look into like the crawl space, the foundation, if the house got, leak, how old is the roof, the HVAC, all these things that we need to take into consideration before even going to under contract, right? So any advice that you have for agents, clients, or people, that are watching this?
Yeah, for sure. So
for things to look for.
Things for look for. Why not to avoid, right? I feel like a lot of clients do not want to spend that extra money, right? Because again, how much is a home inspection around average?
it starts around $385 for like 1,000 square foot house.
Okay, and then
roughly.
termites.
Termites, if it's a slab, like 120, 115.
Okay, and then what about if they want to do radon?
Radon, depending on the location, anywhere from like 125 to 175.
What's the other one? Is radon, and isn't there like another one?
So we offer a lot of services,
Okay.
right? And there's a couple questions that you asked. I'm gonna kind of try to cover all of them. So before you go under contract, one of the biggest things you can do is try to educate yourself and understand what you're purchasing, right? Go in there with realistic expectations. If you're buying a house that's 100 years old, you have to understand there's going to be things that come with it. If you're buying a newer house, there's going to be less problems, but you still have to get it inspected. So if you have a house that's been vacant or a house that is looking rough, you have to understand what you're purchasing, right? The hardest part is getting people that are buying a house that have unrealistic expectations of what they're buying. The second part is, and I understand this part, inspections are not cheap, right? You have a lot of stuff going on. You have appraisals, you have the inspection part, you can't use your credit, you have to keep all your cash for down payment and closing. Obviously, you guys help out with that as much as you can, but getting something inspected, getting your property inspected, the house you're going to live in for the next 10, 15 years, one of the largest investments, it's worth investing a little bit of money. I always tell people that you should be spending at least about $1,000 on your inspection, at least. Now, our home inspection, our base price is about $385, right? And that just covers the home itself, but it covers the stuff that we can see. Now, we don't have x-ray vision, but there's a lot of stuff that we can gather from the stuff that we can't see during a regular home inspection. North Carolina and South Carolina, in the states that we operate right now, are governed by certain standards of practice. We have to follow those standards. We can, go a little bit above those standards of practice, but also if you start going too far above, now we become liable for a lot of stuff. So we have to kind of stay within those parameters. But there's things that you can do on top of that. During a home inspection, you can get a sewer scope where we check the pipes that are underneath the house, right? We look underneath the ground. During a normal home inspection, we can't see those. But if you opt in for a sewer scope, we can check that out, right? If you get radon, I can't tell you during a home inspection if you have radon gas or not. I can't sniff it out. There's special machines that we can use for that, right? Same thing with mold. Septic, we are now officially licensed in North Carolina for septic inspections. It's a separate license and certification and insurance that you have to hold. We can go in there and inspect your septic tank. Those are things that we can't see during a normal home inspection. And all that stuff adds up, but it's worth diving into if you're going to really purchase a home.
I like because you're becoming a one shop only.
Yeah, well, yeah, one-stop shop. You know what I really like what you said is that people don't have the right expectations for what they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard for people to understand that if you are buying 180, 70 year plus home, there's gonna be things that are gonna come up on an inspection report. And typically, correct me if I'm wrong, in those homes, the majority of those homes, as far as their foundation, is a crawl space.
Correct.
Correct? Michael, funny story, man. When I first started, I feel like I messed up.
No. We every time is different.
You learn.
And we learn.
Yeah.
Yo quedé como traumado, and I think Michael did too.
It was a good learning
And
experience?
I felt bad. I felt bad about everything because I went to show the house. This is when I literally had started. I went to go show the house, and I'll get to my question in a second, but it's always on the back of my mind. I went to go show the house and for Mike, and then they got it under contract, and it was a show, bro, under contract. It never closed, but it had to do with the freaking foundation of the crawl space.
¿Por qué le pasó?
Bro, de todo, bro, de todo. So
Amigos,
that's what I want to get to.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I want to get to. So when somebody's buying a home that has a crawl space, there are some things that I advise them of based off of what I know, that the experience that I've gained, what I've seen on the inspection reports. What are some of the most common things that you see when you do an inspection in a crawl space?
Okay, so crawl spaces, I will tell you right now, before I hated them. I thought they were the worst thing you can get for a house. You want to go with basement or slab. Nowadays, they're my favorite.
Okay.
I prefer a crawl space over a basement and over a slab all day. This is just my preference.
Okay.
And the reason is, yes, in a crawl space, you can have a lot more issues, right? You're going to have maybe some structural movement, maybe you could have some water intrusion, you can have some mold, you can have pests, you can have a lot of stuff in a crawl space. However, it's the easiest foundation to fix, right?
Okay.
If you have a basement, you have water intrusion. I'm going through it right now. I have a basement, a walkout basement. My kids sleep in the basement, and we've had radon, we've had mold, we've had water intrusion in that basement. Our house is 3 years old. When you have a slab, if you have a plumbing leak in a slab, you got to bust up the entire slab to get the pipe out, right? If you have shifting of your slab and you got to put piers to lift it up, it's a very expensive process. Crawl spaces, even though they are kind of like the scariest and potentially the most issues, they're the easiest to fix. So
that makes sense.
That's my preference.
I never looked at it that way. So if you have, let's say you have somebody who's telling you that they're interested in purchasing a home and it has a crawl space. They haven't submitted the offer yet. It's a 70-year-old home. What are some of the things that you would tell them, like, to look that they could possibly find on the inspection report? Like, what are some of the things that you would say, like, hey, these are some of the common things that you could possibly find?
Yeah.
Just so you have a heads up.
So the best thing to do is when you're doing showings and you're walking around the property and you see the house has a crawl space, go to the crawl space access, open the door, take a sniff, right? Go inside and smell what it smells like. If it smells damp and humid, probably going to have some issues with humidity with some mold, right? Take a little flashlight. Take Mike's flashlight, right? You got Mike's flashlight
lighter.
right there. Boom, his lighter. Boom.
His lighter.
Take a look at the insulation, right? If the insulation's all on the floor and it's fallen and it looks like it's like a haunted house, you have humidity problems, right? If there's no vapor barrier, you're going to have humidity problems. The biggest issue in crawl space is usually humidity. It's moisture. It's water intrusion coming into the crawl space. We definitely can see, pests, and we see issues with the HVAC ductwork, and we see issues with the foundation. But the biggest issue that I see is we go in and they don't have a vapor barrier, or they have water coming into the crawl space. The insulation's popping down. You can see it like drooping. You can see mold all over the subfloor, or you have water coming from the house and they never notice it because they never go in their crawl space, right? Because who wants to go in their crawl space, right? Nobody, just me. So you go in the crawl space and you realize you have a big stain underneath one of your toilets or your sinks, and they never noticed it. And that's been leaking there for months. They never noticed it. So, the best thing you can do when you're going to look at a house, just open the crawl space door, just take a little smell.
I don't like all houses. I'm nothing against. I mean, I'm pretty sure there is some houses that do some nice, good upgrades, and they fix everything and they change everything. But for me, one of the things that I seen in the, I'm not a home inspection again, but I think it's things that are not up to code.
Mm-hmm.
Things that, again, 70 years old, so electrical is not the same, right? I
Yep.
think a lot of they use aluminum or something.
Aluminum wiring, they can do knob and tube wiring, which
Yeah.
is really, really old.
So, and there's a lot of things that are not even functional more. You cannot find the things to repair them, or maybe we don't use those no more because somehow they're dangerous too, right? To the house.
Well, codes have changed. So, and going back to the expectations, people have to understand that when the house was built, if it's 50, 60, 70 years old, if there was any code back then in that area, because there's some communities out here that are very rural, right? If there was code back then, it's not the same as it is now. When the code inspector goes out to inspect something that's like an addition or a change, they're not inspecting the entire house. They're inspecting that one section that they're coming out to inspect. So you might have a house that is perfectly legal, it's good, and it's up to code, but it's up to code when it was built, not what it is today. And those are two different things.
And that's back to Michael's point. So what are some like red flags then? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That a buyer can maybe keep, or even for agents, you have a lot of new agents who don't have experience, who are showing a home for the first time. How many people have you not spoken to, or who, or even yourself, that you have spoken to who went through a deal and the deal fell through? Because why do a lot of these deals fall through?
Don't blame it on the inspection.
No,
now.
not because
It's
of
on the
Oscar,
house.
but it goes back to, it's not, yes, it could be due to the inspection
No, of
report,
course.
but I feel like it's a lot of the work that's done before
Correct.
it even gets there.
Yep.
Like the expectations.
Yep.
Right? When they have the right expectations. And I was talking to Oscar on my previous one, this like 2 days ago. I was like, Oscar, everything that you're telling me, I told her before. I already
Yep.
told her, these are some of the things that you're going to see on the inspection report. So to Michael's point, what are some of those red flags? That a buyer can be on the lookout for, or even an agent can be on the lookout for whenever they are inspecting these homes, such as the ones that Michael is
for
mentioning.
Sure. So expectations, right? Educating your clients. I think the biggest thing is the agents, especially the newer agents that haven't been doing this for a while, they don't know what to look for.
Exactly.
And one thing that we love to do is educate our agents.
Right.
So if you ever have a new agent or anybody watching, if you guys ever have any questions, we'd love to come and talk to you individually, talk to you as a group, and just really just answer any questions. It doesn't have to be anything formal, but we love answering questions. We love educating new agents, educating new teams. The red flags, it really just depends on when you're going to a property, knowing what you're looking for, right? You have to look at the roof. You can look at the roof from the outside. If you see the roof is all wavy and looking all crazy, it's probably has some issues. If you walk around the property and you see a bunch of cracks, you might have some foundational issues. With the electrical, you want to take a look at, make sure you have, a newer panel. Make sure the panel is not, either red or white and blue. Those are like some colors that you don't normally see.
Right.
Those are older panels. So there's a lot of stuff that you can really, little by little, start looking at and start noticing. But the biggest thing is really just educating your clients. You can have a house that is falling apart, and people blame it on the inspector, on the inspection. Oh, the inspector put 20 different things on this and it scared my client. No. The house is what produced all these things. Now, there's a way to deliver that message, right? Our goal is to educate the client, let them know everything that's on that report, but showing them in a way that doesn't freak them out, because everything is fixable. So the biggest thing right there that you can do is have a good communication between your agents, your clients, and your inspectors. If the agent takes the time to sit there with their client and explain what's on the report, call us, ask us questions. Let's do a 3-way call. Let's jump on a Zoom call. I'm happy to sit there and explain that report to you section by section, and let your client know, yes, you do have termites. It's a $1,500 fix, right? You have mold. It can be taken care of. You have an old electrical panel. It's $2,000 and you fix it. You shouldn't walk away from your dream house because of things that can be fixed.
Gotcha. That makes sense. You got a
No,
question?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I agree with that, because I think at least when I do my consultations with my buyers, I do explain certain things. Like, one, North Carolina is a buyer beware state that you have to do the research. Secondly, North Carolina, they can sell as is. The seller is not obligated to fix anything. But like I say, I think experience is really important.
1000%.
Right? Because we come and we're trying to, before we get them on the contract, start to look at those things that we're not there. And if we're there, it's because the client choose, because that's the house, but we set the right expectation, right? You can't like walk into a house, they say 20, 30, 40 years old, you know the inspections, you were already looking at the items, and then ask for price when the inspection comes.
Exactly.
And now you're like, I don't want to buy it. No, I always tell the clients, hey, everything, as long as it can be repaired, we're gonna try to negotiate and get it done so it's good.
Yep.
Right? Now, again, it may not. And yes, that's a chance that, again, the seller may not want to fix anything. But we all know, like, if they do want to sell, they're going to have to fix. Or if they go back on the market, they're going to
It's
have
gonna
to
be known.
disclose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to disclose everything.
It's all going to be known. Now you already had an inspection. It's already known.
Yeah. I think also what I like, at least I know we do, and a lot of agents do, and you let us know. You do the inspection, right? It's normally like an hour, 2 hours. It's normally 2 hours.
2 hours,
right?
roughly, yeah.
And normally we like to go before the inspection finish, just to get the last 30 minutes, review the inspection with you, know what's going on, and then when the client know, we can give them the right expectation, right? I love that.
Absolutely.
I encourage all the agents, if not only if you knew, but to do go to the home inspection all the time, because I think the more you go to these things, the more you take the time to review these inspections with you start absorbing that knowledge. Because I'm not an inspector, but I feel like I have learned a lot through the years.
Yeah.
But if I go back to year one, I didn't know anything. I just didn't know. I'm not an inspector. I'm not a
It's
handyman. I
time
don't
to
know.
100%. And you mentioned, for example, how much it would be to treat termites, mold, etc. Can you give us an idea of how much? Not how much. Can you give whoever is watching an idea of how long a roof could, the age of a roof? How long can typically a roof last? Your HVAC system, your water heater, because I do feel like, some of the clients that we work with are buying a lot of older homes, and a lot of these appliances, are older appliances, or there is an older HVAC, there is an older roof, so they're seeing this roof from 20 years old, 30 years old.
Yeah.
So and I always see on the inspection reports where it says, well, hey, this is the lifespan of the roof,
Correct.
et cetera, et cetera. Can you give us an idea of those years for
Yeah.
each one of those?
Yeah,
That
so-
you could, when you talk to the buyer after giving the inspection report, well, hey, there's typically how long it could last you, so don't be surprised if you're going to need one in about a year or two.
Correct. And it really just depends on the maintenance. That's key.
Okay.
Right. And there's no way for the buyer to control the maintenance.
Correct.
They're just getting what they're getting. But if the property has been maintained really well, things can last a lot longer. When it comes to roofs, there's two different types of roofs. Primarily here in North Carolina, we have architectural shingles, or you have 3-tap shingles. Architectural shingles are those thicker ones that you can see all the waves and patterns, and they have like they're crossing on top of each other. Those can last up to 20, 25 years.
Okay.
With good maintenance, right? They're going to have issues here and there, but if they were installed properly, they're maintained properly, you don't have a bunch of trees and bushes and stuff around them, they can last 20, 25 years. 3-tap shingles, those 12 to 15 years under good conditions, right?
How those look like?
Those are the ones where you can see all the individual lines of the shingles, where they're completely flat on the roof. You don't see like any kind of dimensions or any kind of waves or anything.
And
but
those like 13, 15 years.
yeah, that's about it.
No.
That's about it.
Okay.
When it comes to water heaters, and this is tricky. If the water heater was purchased and it was maintained properly, I've seen water heaters 20, 30 years old, right? But if there's no maintenance on it and it just sits there, it probably lasts maybe 10, 12 years. Water heaters typically from the manufacturer have a 6-year warranty. Sometimes you can get a 10-year warranty on those. But typically 10, 12 years, that water heater should be looking at replacement. HVAC systems, you can do maintenance on them as well. It's not usually a homeowner that can do maintenance. Usually you have to have a contractor. But HVAC systems, 12 to 15 years as well.
Okay.
Is typically what you see. Now, again, you have those that are out there that are, well-maintained and cleaned, and, they can last you 15, 20 years. But it really depends on the maintenance. So if you go out there and you see that HVAC system, the fins are all dented or it's full of debris on the outside, and you open the closet or the attic and it's got rust all over the pan, it's probably not a well-maintained unit. It's not going to last you that long.
Okay. That's good information for people to know, because there's a lot of people who may watch the video and they're maybe in the middle of purchasing a home. I mean, I really do believe that everything is not just for the client. I really do believe that a lot of this information is for the agents.
Yeah.
You know, to serve them correctly, to not put them. I literally was just doing a showing this morning, and it was my first time showing the house to her. And I'm running waters, flushing toilets. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, look, I'm not here to convince you to buy a house. I'm here to give you every reason as to why not to buy it. So when you tell me that you still want it after everything that I show you,
Bam.
that means you really want this. So when we go under contract, you're not scared trying to back out.
I like that. That's
You know
really
what I'm
cool.
saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's why what Michael said is so important about experience.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, my first couple of showings when I first started, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. This is everything that you're looking
Hey,
for.
you want to like, oh, I want to do this in my house.
Yeah.
And this,
You know, and then here we go, following through, man. You know?
I think experience is really important. Like right
So
now,
important, man.
With that information, I know, like I already know a little bit of that information, so I'll be using it. And I always say right now, for example, houses from the 2000. Now we were talking about old houses, right? But if the old house was renovated and they did a good job and they put everything new, well, everything is new, so it's gonna be working really good. But what I'm noticing a lot of houses from 2000. You say, oh, 2000, 2004, even 2009, 10. That's not old. You look at it, oh, that's not old. Yet, if you think about it, that's 15 to 20 years, right? So most of those houses, they're already at the end of the HVAC,
Yep.
of the roof, of the water heater.
Yep.
So even if the house look good, even if it's new, those things are already towards the end.
Your
Yep.
big ticket items, you're
Right,
saying.
exactly. So
That's
you
the
kinda
trickiest part.
Have they changed it? Have they did maintenance?
Yep.
I think that's like you have to be kind of like tricky on those. Those houses are tricky.
Yeah.
You know, because then the negotiation part come, it's working as intended, all that stuff. But again, hey, contact us. You know, your real estate expert, your home is professional inspector, right?
100%.
So you not only that, you want to walk into a house with peace. You want to walk into a house knowing that what's it called, peace of mind.
Peace
Yeah,
With a
of
peace of mind.
yeah.
Even with new constructions.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get tired of telling my clients to do a home inspection in new construction. Doesn't mean it's not, because it's new. I know you get warranties, but doesn't mean it's new. It's not gonna be perfect, right?
Oh, yeah, all
We're
the
not
time.
perfect. People make mistakes. You know, they're building 100 homes. You know, they're gonna make a mistake.
Yeah.
And you know, it's better to find that, solve it, because new constructions are more likely they're gonna fix if it's something wrong, and you're gonna walk in with a house, right? Don't avoid that home inspection again for trying to save you a couple $100. Those $100 that you're gonna spend is an investment, right? Not just for the peace of mind, but for you to not be dealing with that. Imagine something happened, you move into the house, now you have water going into the house or leaking or something happened. Now you have to do a claim. You bring in people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a headache.
You want to be enjoying your house when
You want to
move
be
in.
enjoying your house.
Yeah. So, and I want to touch on that real quick, Mike. You said about new construction. People don't know that during new construction, there's 3 inspections they can do. 3 inspections. You have your pre-drywall. Well, you can do more. You can do, your slab inspection and so on and so forth. But for the most part, there's 3 main inspections. You can do your pre-drywall inspection, your pre-closing, and then your 1-year warranty.
I love that. And I
You
tell
should do all 3.
I tell that all my clients. I feel like a lot of people don't tell that to their clients, and a lot of new builders don't tell them that, because most of the new builders, you had a 1-year warranty, right, to cover everything. If you do the inspection right before and you send the tickets to them, the punch
Before the year?
for the year, they're gonna have to fix it.
Yep.
Don't wait for after. I mean, what a best investment than that one.
You get a
And the
brand new
pre-wall,
house.
the
Yeah.
pre-wall inspection. A lot of people ignore that one, or they don't even know about that one. But that's the only time you're gonna be able to know where the plumbing is,
The
where all the
structural,
electrical plumbing, everything is before they put walls in the house.
Yeah, we just did one in Edgewater. It's a beautiful community out in Lancaster, and True Homes, and it was a great house, beautiful house. They had some structural issues. They had some issues with some of the trusses. Now, I really appreciate the way True Homes handled the situation. They didn't try to fight it. They sent it to their framers, and they got it fixed.
Big shout out to True Homes.
Shout
We
out
work
to
with
True Homes, 100%.
They
Yeah.
also sponsor our events. We work. Big shout out to Julio,
Eddie,
David,
David,
Enrique, what is it?
David, Eric.
Eddie,
Yeah,
David. So we love them, and they do take care of the clients.
Yep.
You know, and like you say, you did the inspection. There were some issues, but they fixed it.
Correct.
They
And that's
were
the
like, no,
biggest
we're not
thing.
gonna do it.
The biggest thing with new builders is when you do that inspection, if they come back and fight you with it, just get it fixed,
Yeah.
right? So that was a big shout out to them as well. They did no pushback. They went and they got it fixed because they're not perfect. They have subcontractors. They have builders. They build a lot of houses. So that's why you need a third party coming out and looking for you. And make sure you buy a house from a builder that's going to stand by their work and get their stuff fixed.
100%. Mike's True.
I'm not sponsored by True Homes, by the way. I'm just saying.
We are. No,
You get wait, if you buy with us at True Home, you do get an extra $1,000 credit from using one of us because we're a preferred agents for them.
Okay,
There
True
we go,
Homes,
baby.
I mean, I
There we
wear
go,
True Homes
baby.
on my shirt. I
True
don't know.
Homes, man, always looking out. Mike said, in regards of new constructions, that there's some people who are buying new construction that may tell him, like, why do I need to get a
It's
home
new.
inspection if it's brand new, right?
They're already doing inspection.
Has there been anything that you've seen in new construction inspections, when you've done them, that you're like, this is why you should get a inspection at a new
All the time.
construction? Can you share some of those
Yeah.
things maybe that you've seen? So maybe the buyer or even the agent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can be able to have a heads up of what are some of the things they can expect?
Yeah, so like I said, recently I went to that one in Lancaster, and I'll give you one for each section, right? For the pre-drywall, for the
Okay.
1 year. So for the pre-drywall, we went out there, and this was an educated buyer. This was her 6th new construction house.
Okay.
So she knows what she's looking at, right? She's been through the process before, and did the inspection. I noticed that there was like 3 broken, truss cords, and she hadn't noticed it. They were a little bit higher in the attic that she hadn't seen, and we pointed it out. And those are things that if we wouldn't have seen it, drywall wouldn't have gone up, and it would have been there. Nobody would have been able to see it. And it was in a section that when you do the home inspection at the 1 year warranty or the pre-closing, you probably wouldn't have been able to see because it's too far in to be able to see. So I would have stayed there for God knows how long until it became a different issue. With pre-drywall as well, you want to make sure that everything is level, make sure everything is properly, supported, make sure that all the trusses and all the hangers are properly nailed in. That's when you, like Mike said, you can see the stuff without the drywall. That's when you can see the bare bones of the house and make sure it's got a good foundation. With the pre-closing, there's a lot of stuff that we've been in new construction homes, and they don't have the appliances connected correctly. They don't have outlets wired correctly. They don't have the plumbing connected correctly, maybe because they didn't do a pre-drywall. Or they did all this stuff during the trim out where they're putting actually all the fixtures in, and we go out there and we're running plumbing and there's leaks. And we've filled up tubs and there's leaks behind the tubs for the overflow.
Okay.
All those things happen. And then on the 1 year warranty is like we tell people, it's not the same for me to inspect your house and flush your toilet 3-4 times like Omar does during his walkthroughs or we do during our inspection. It's not the same as you flushing your toilet 10 times a day for a year, right? If there's going to be issues with it, it's going to be after that period. So that's that break-in period where the house settles, where all the appliances get used every day, the cabinets get used every day, all your electrical, your plumbing, your HVAC, all that gets used for a whole year during normal use. That's when we can see some additional things that we couldn't see during the initial inspection.
I like that one. I like that one a lot, and I think we forget about that one. The one you do after the 1 year, because the house gonna settle.
Yep.
Right through the winter, what is it, shrink and expand?
Yeah, it shrinks and expands all day.
All day, and the nail pops.
Yep.
They are starting come. The carpet you can start hearing.
Yeah.
And all those things can be taken care of if you reach out your builder.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell us something. So if you do that third one, right? Will you give them an extra discount? What's the price?
Yep.
What's that look like?
So the way we like to do it is we have 2 different ways. You can get each inspection individually,
Okay.
right? It's up to you. You can call us out in 11 months when you're done. Or what we do if the clients book all 3 inspections at once and they pay for all 3 up front, we give them a pretty decent sized discount. As we've been doing lately, and we got a lot of clients that way, especially in the new construction communities, because 1, it's a benefit for them. You're thinking, well, I'm paying up front, but yes, you're saving money up front because I'm giving you a discount. But also by 2025, prices might have gone up. You're locked into that price of your home inspection a year in advance. So you got me locked in. You just got to tell me what day to be there, and I'll be there.
Nice. We have a VA client, and you also mentioned that you do have VA discounts because at the earlier of the podcast you mentioned that you was in the Navy.
Yep.
Navy.
Yep. So
Okay.
I was actually active duty Navy. I'm still in the Navy right now. I'm in the reserves. But we do give discounts to teachers, first responders, seniors, and military.
Okay, nice. That's good to know.
That is good.
Yep.
And also you do give them a discount, an extra VIP service if they go with Garrett Associate. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yep.
We have that in camera, baby.
It's documented.
Michael loves discounts.
Soy ecuatoriano.
You know what I'm saying? He loves them. He loves them. We still have a few minutes. We still have a few minutes left, and I think we've spoken a lot about the buying side, right? But I think there's still one key element that we haven't spoken about, which is the seller side.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Have you done any pre-inspections for sellers before?
Yeah.
And if you have, what would be your advice to somebody who's getting ready to sell their house and they're thinking about, should I do it or should I not?
Yeah. So I definitely love pre-listing inspections. One, it's beneficial for the seller. It's going to speed up the process for the seller, avoid any negotiations towards the end. You can see what's going on with the property. Yes, you have to disclose it, but if you have a competent inspector, the buyer side is going to find it anyways. Just get it over with. You don't have to worry about, oh, did I not disclose this? Did I not disclose that? It's all there. It's on the inspector now. So now you have a house, and when the buyer comes in and sees that pre-listing inspection, you're not have to worry about them sitting there and saying, oh, well, I want a discount for A, B, C, and D, because they already know what's on there. So you can list it accordingly, price it accordingly, and speed up your process. I mean, Mike, you want to talk about the process of pre-listing inspections?
No, well, you know, I put one of my properties in the market for sale, and because I'm a real estate agent, I had to disclose everything, right? And so I had to do a home inspection myself, but which is good, like you said, because it will prepare me to fix on the items that I think need to be fixing before even going in the market. Or me deciding if I don't want to and price the house accordingly. So, okay, when they come and say, well, listen, this is the inspection report, you made the decision, but I'm not going to be negotiating back and forth, fixing this, fixing that, you know, because it's priced accordingly. I think it's really important. I think again, because if there is things that you can fix right now before you're gonna go through that headache, why not go ahead and take care of them?
Yeah,
right?
We did Mike's inspection, and yes, I'm pretty sure he was surprised at a couple of things, but that happens. You got to remember, it's like when you haven't seen a family member in forever, you're like, oh my God, you guys so tall. But the family member's been there, and they're like, no, he's the same.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
When you live in a house, you don't see the little things that are going wrong with the house because you, little by little, start just absorbing them. You don't realize it. So when you have a third party come in and look at this stuff, yeah, you might be shocked, and it might be a bit of a surprise that somebody's coming here nitpicking your house, but that's going to save you time and money during the process.
100%. You ever spoke about inspections this much, man? 45 minutes of inspection talk?
Wow.
Hey, they say if you love something, you talk about it for 3 hours.
100%, and it's different, at least for us too.
Really good information.
How many times do you see an inspector on a podcast or an inspector getting on reels? You don't see it often. You always get the lender. And I feel like everybody throughout the transaction makes it happen. You know, it's not just the lender, it's just not the real estate agent. The inspector, the inspection report, everything that gets done throughout that process is a key element in order for it to close. You know, and that's why, besides the fact that you support our team so much, and I think, you know, from what you've seen, we are, you know, a group of people that outside of real estate, we do want to do right by everybody who's supporting.
For sure.
You know, we want to have you, if it is on our platforms, on our podcast, we want to show love to your business. But besides that, I really do believe, for me personally, this podcast was probably one of the most like informative, or I don't even know if that's the word, but one that has the most information. You know, a lot of valuable information, not only for the consumer, the buyer, you know, but also for the agents. You know, there's a lot of good pieces that they can come and grab from this podcast that will help them throughout that process. And bro, like always, man, just want to thank you for coming by and talking to us. You know what I'm saying? You said something about Messi. We're going to let that one slide. Vicente, my son Vicente, he said it's 7 all day. You know, but we're going to let it slide. Yeah, just kidding. Pero,
and then I said El Pibe también. He was 10. I'm Colombian, so El Pibe, so I said Pibe.
Bro, we should have had some empanadas, un pan de bono.
Oh, that's where we're going after this.
Okay. ¿Qué es? Una bandeja paisa.
Una chuleta caleña.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, y a Michael no le gusta comer.
What you mean?
Just kidding. Pero, bro, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on here, bro.
No, thank you guys for having me. And like I said before, I love educating my clients. I love educating my agents. So if your team or anybody watching has any questions, reach out to me. Even if you don't use me.
Let them know. Let them know.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
your
go
number,
ahead,
get
man.
your email,
Yeah,
get
for
your
sure.
social media, and let them know what they
Vamos a
should
dar un
use
reel.
you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, even if you have another inspector and you want to just test me out, just give me a call. 704-579-6653 is my phone number. Look us up, Ohana Inspections on Instagram. We love educating our clients. If you want to have us come out and talk to you, whether it be in a group setting or a private session, you want to go out, grab lunch, and just talk about inspections, I'm happy to educate. I'm happy to teach. I'm happy to just sit there and just go back and forth. It's what we do. We love what we do, and we want to pass that information along.
100%. And before we end the podcast, like always, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Anderson.
Anderson, the filmmaker, baby.
You know, cuando antes de empezar, Oscar había dicho, he was like, man, this is like you guys have a really good setup here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no somos nosotros. It's Anderson el que tiene el setup.
Yeah.
You know, so shout out to Anderson for always, you know, giving us great service, for always giving us the ability to set up podcasts like this, for coming out yesterday to our event, you know, and always being there to support us. So shout out to Anderson as well.
Yeah.
And
Everybody,
go ahead,
hey, thank you for watching us. If you haven't follow us or subscribe, please do on our YouTube channel. Look at the other podcasts. I think we have a great information. Oh, bro, we did a great job, I think, this year. We killing it.
100%.
Wishing everybody a happy holidays. Enjoy the time with your family. Love you all, and we stay in touch. See you next month.
Let's see you. Peace. Bendiciones.
Whoop, whoop.